All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
To Your Eternity, Season 1, Episode 17. Hayase has defeated Fushi.
Yeah, the tournament is over. This is going to be a big shift in things, depending on how Hayase takes this. She is a monster. There is something very wrong with her.
Yeah.
Now, it's just the question of what exactly?
Yeah, is this just her psychologically unstable and, you know, and crazy and all that stuff? Or is there maybe something more to it?
Something more to it, yeah. Now, Fushi, you know, is in a bad way, but, you know, he's
immortal, so he should be fine.
So he should be fine. But it's just the question of, because of the way this arc was set up, there's a lot of focus on how people could use you, Fushi.
Sure.
And so I feel like Hayase could end up not just using you as a stepping stone, but maybe even more than that.
Yeah, if, like, Fushi already hasn't had too much agency this arc, and it's about to probably get reduced even further because he will be a problem for Hayase, I'm guessing, if she doesn't do something about it, but she could totally, like, try and use people that he cares about to leverage him to, like, make weapons for her, or, you know, or do whatever.
Any kind of stuff based on what her ambitions are, which we don't know what those are really yet, outside of just winning the tournament.
Right.
So, okay, that's where we're at. I'm genuinely excited to see how they develop Hayase here, because this is her moment to basically be like, all right, now here's what I want, here's where we're doing, here's what we're doing, here's where we're going, let's do this now.
Right.
And then, and that should be basically the focus of the episode. So, yeah, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. All right, so this episode, Hayase does her declaration.
Thing. Yeah.
She's starting to create a religion of sorts, a following.
Makes sense. Cool.
Which, I like the way in which she's being like, I am paired with Fushi.
Yeah.
He was mine. Thank you for taking care of him. Because there's no one that can counter her story other than Fushi.
So it totally makes sense, right? And then by phrasing it as he ran away, he's not fully himself, he was feral, all that stuff. Then it's it's a way to convince the people to potentially help her go against Fushi's will, because it's he'll get better soon, but says, yeah, exactly.
Now, the funny thing is that Pioran actually is one of the people that could theoretically go against her story.
And she was also sent away.
She was sent away.
Right.
So that's I would say, a smart move on Hayase's part. But the idea of, okay, Hayase, you want him as your vehicle to move up in the world.
Right.
But what's the you want to that word
the technical aspects of Hayase's plan I'm totally on board with, right? And the idea of
maybe wanting a kid.
Yeah, of wanting a kid to see, like, because that would be...
what would happen.
To see what would happen. That would be another thing to potentially explore with the idea of an immortal being, and if she wants to truly cement her place as, you know, sort of high priestess, whatever, of this area, then it makes sense to have a child, an heir, basically. That way, you know, there's an element
she's wanting to use
permanence. Yeah, she's wanting to use him.
This is literally what Tanari warned about.
Yes.
It's just that... this is where we're going.
But as far as tonal things to bring into this show, attempted rape of the main character was not what I expected. I am very curious what editor thought this was a good idea. Especially when we're in the arc where we're going back to let's have a Goonies squad. Like, what? What? Like, literally the only reason she didn't was because she...
probably couldn't get him erect.
Because he was drugged.
Because he was drugged, yep.
What? Like, okay, that's a way to explain the whole creepy, like, cheek licking from way back before, you know? But,
yeah, this is going to be a thing. This is going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Now, that all being said, what we are also doing here is we are giving the coming back full circle to where now Tanari needs to go back to the island to save him.
Yep, which I like that.
Which I do like that, because we're slowly but surely warming up to Tonari. We need to basically
It was a long time coming,
undo
but
a whole lot of stuff there. But
Yeah.
but she did quite a bit. There was some funky shenanigans with regards to the we'll go back there to go get him. We'll easily get rid of the guards, which was kind of hilarious how stormtroopery they became this episode. They just kind of were there, and there was an indiscriminate number of them that were just kind of there. There's a bunch of just weird choices this episode.
A lot of the way that like I don't know directing and things like that, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of the way that the transitions happened, it felt like it's just, here's a new development. Why? Because why not? You know?
And here's another
And then here's another thing, and here's another thing, right? And little things like the girl with the blow darts getting grabbed by the big dude. Okay, all right, sure.
He's trying to save their lives, but why was he even there?
Why was he even there? You know, like, and you know,
there's a lot of things about this that just felt a little bit just jarring.
But then the drug that's supposed to last 2 hours only lasts 5 minutes for reasons that we cannot explain.
Well, right, but that's the thing. It's not supposed to be explained yet. We'll find out later. Just in the same way in which Liegard, the bird, shouldn't be there because he's dead. Therefore, because of the thing that Fushi showed that he can do in making one of his forms out of his hand, means that he had to have then become the bird. When it died, used his own creation form thing to do this before he was thrown into the well, or there's a time thing of him having done that when he was already in the well, which would work as well.
Yeah, because a bird could totally fly out, but I'm guessing they would have guards outside anyway, since he's an immortal and can transform and all that stuff.
Yeah, but maybe they don't think that he can fly.
Right, but then he was drugged and then carried to the well, so unless
When did he have time to do that?
When did he have time to do that?
So I think it has to be a thing of where we're not seeing things time-wise at the exact bit there, which also just makes it more confusing as to...
Exactly.
It's something where... He did it after the point at which we saw him at the bottom of the well.
Right. Theoretically, you could solve the technical complications and problems with it, but it still doesn't make it satisfying.
Nope.
And then on top of that, now we have an additional issue in that before, Pioran was the motivation, and it was a shaky motivation at best, because while he does want to save Pioran, it's not something where Fushi is really deciding. Now Pioran is okay. She's gone. Granted, Tonari is coming back to save him, and so he might need to help her out, right? Because now she's going to be in danger.
But the thing is I like that it was his actions that led to them all being made free here.
Sure,
because he basically said, "Oh, Hayase, you do what I want, or I will kill you," showing that he is willing to fight and kill and do the human thing to protect those that he cares about, which is cool. But the idea that this all snaked its way back to that kind of anyway, but so that we can develop and progress the story in this very creepy side of things is a thing where the story, again, is basically saying, we will sell you on this, but just wait until next episode to do that. Or wait until next, this was a manga, I'm assuming, so therefore, wait until the next chapter to do it. It feels really like I'm being strung along right now.
I'm not sure how much of that is adaptation or just maybe, manga production, weekly release gets crazy, it could be any of those things or both.
Yeah.
But
it's a situation that I just want the main character to just wash his hands from and leave. If he can act, this is the other thing. If he can actually fly, right,
because the bird's dead.
Right.
And they're that's the only explanation I can think of for the bird, because even if it was shot and it survived somehow,
then why
it wouldn't be able to fly?
And this is the thing here, is that if that's the case, and he can create the bird as it was, I think the only way that this makes sense motivation-wise as to where he could maybe create the bird but wouldn't take the form of the bird is that the bird clawed him in the previous bit. Therefore, he had access to make the bird because it punctured his skin.
Right, and we know that it does.
He didn't form a connection with the bird enough to where he could put it into his form, which is a weird. It's almost like plot convenience. He could do that with the mole.
It's a plot inconvenience.
Yeah, it's a plot inconvenience where if he could become the bird, then he would just transform back into Fushi and be like, you don't need to rescue me, let's just go.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's
or he
not
turns
the bird.
into the bear once he gets up there. You know, like even if there are guards with the knockout things or whatever.
No. He can't transform while he's knocked out.
No. But if he transforms into the bird to escape the well, which like even
well, that's my point. Is that if he wouldn't do that, he would just leave, go all the way. Why would he transform into the bear at all?
If like somehow there were marksmen that had the darts and everything, and as soon as he pops up as the owl, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm going on the vibe that we already are seeing things chronologically correctly. If he is the bird,
right,
then he would just be like, I'm transformed here, let's go now. Because it didn't do that, I think that this is generally a way in which Fushi has also another way that this power can be used, which is that he can create things, meaning living things potentially as well. And then they can just go back to basically the exact way that they were.
And they just don't have, like, it's separate from his own will.
Yeah, it's not him.
Then if that's possible,
I would say that's relatively in line, more so than him putting his consciousness into the thing that he creates.
But then
that
if
feels a little wonky.
Right, but then if that does happen, then why wouldn't that work on people? You know, like and then you have resurrection in your world and
right. I think it's because of the idea that they would be people. So I'm guessing he can't do that.
Weirdly enough, I think the thing they're actually trying to set up here is that the bird just survived the massive arrow that got shot through it. Like, because if it is Fushi, there's no reason for them to go back, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. Unless he's wanting to stop Hayase from doing what she's doing, but she needs him in order to do what she's doing. So,
I'm really confused. I really hope the story can turn things around. It does have enough time to do that.
Yeah.
It does have enough time to do that. We still got 3 episodes left. I really want to enjoy this show. There's just a lot of things that are making it really difficult, and they're pulling me out of the immersion side of things because I really like the exploration of Fushi just going around with things. I loved the inner world stuff of him talking with those from his past or his family.
I kill her? You know,
like, what do I do with her? And then the creepy things of like, oh God, stop, what are you doing? I don't like this. And then they're all gone. And that panic of being alone and not being able to...
That was emotionally evocative.
That was very terrifying. I really felt that here. And then, you know, that whole thing happened, which, okay. I think that there's a possibility. I think that there's a possibility that this whole thing is basically a way to show the lesson he didn't learn with Gugu again, in that it's not just that you need to rely on others at times. It's the idea that if you're going to be with people, you're going to invest time in those people can betray you. It's not just that they can fail you. It's not that they can just fail you in that they're not capable of protecting you from the knockers, for instance. They can fail you as just people. They can fail you by just being shitty people.
But like,
and I kind of like the fact, I liked the fact up until now, that all the people that Fushi had interacted with had been wonderfully wholesome people for the most part. And it had been a really wonderful experience. You know, he was being kind of used on some level just as much as Gugu was kind of being used to make good food. A little bit. But it was never anything that violated some aspect of Fushi.
He was saved from the dungeon where they would poke him with the spears. You know?
Exactly. But this is his first harsh example of where humanity can just be evil. And just do things that are horrible. So if this is his way to get out of that, and Tonari's kind of transformation as taking active charge in the story here is the way that they do that, awesome. Because I feel like if you're going to go all in on a character, it has to be Tonari, because you've spent already so much time with her right
it's
now.
Like, you got to recoup your costs.
Right. But that means then that keep her around, go all the way in with her character, make her a big portion of this story here, and show the complexity of her character through her unique decisions here.
And show the genuine connection between the two happening. Because when Fushi made his decision of, like, let them go, it felt more like a thing of I know what happens when people get too close to me. They don't need to be here.
And I can take care of myself.
And I can take care of myself. So just get the kids out of here, right?
Can you, Fushi?
Yeah, I mean the the twisted thing of him agreeing to, sure, whatever you need, fine, because he doesn't actually know what it is that
Right,
she wants.
he doesn't really understand the consequences of what he's doing here because he thinks that, for the most part,
it's
most
just,
of the
okay, you want me to
consequences-
make stuff. Oh, make things that way. I see.
Well, yeah,
You know.
he doesn't know what that is.
Right,
though.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, so-
But
yeah.
okay, and with this tone for the arc, it makes me very curious of what would be the direction after, because yeah, I feel like I wouldn't
think
have a ground to stand on. You know?
I think the direction, honestly, is that he leaves civilization for a period of time.
Sure, and then we
And
get a
becomes a
big
bit
time
more of a
skip.
wanderer.
I have kind of wanted to see that. Okay, and
I
then
think that's how you
several
end the
hundred years
season.
later.
No, I think
Sure,
that's how you
yeah,
end the season.
that could be a way
is
to
that
do
this
it.
is a section of time, and they just have that point where he's like, I'm gonna go somewhere else.
Right.
And it's that sorrowful goodbye, and maybe at that point he's really close to Tanari, and it's
Sure.
this whole thing of where
He turns into a turtle, you know, for a few hundred years or something.
and,
you know?
yeah, he just swims away, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
It's this sad goodbye of where no, I really did have a lot of people here, but I'm ultimately
It's better
causing,
this way.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
ultimately causing more harm than good.
Right.
And the being in him can have a conversation about like, hey, it's not. I never said it was going to be easy,
Right.
but you actually have blessed a lot of people. There are a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people's lives that were made better because of you.
Sure.
So.
Although the knockers might keep that from happening because they're going to keep hunting him. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
but he did kick one's ass with the humans and
He
stuff.
did.
So
Yeah,
so
I don't
maybe the
know.
knockers are actually going to get a little scared and be like, we're gonna reevaluate and pull back. If you're working with all these other people, that could cause some problems.
If the knockers were to be removed from this story until like a dramatic climactic finale where he has to defeat them for good or something, I would love
the
that.
knockers come for him,
And inadvertently save him, that'd be interesting.
that could be interesting.
Yeah.
That could be really interesting.
Okay.
Because I was getting vibes almost from Hayase that the reason why she was licking him and all that was because she was somehow like knocker possessed or something like that. But now I'm not so sure. I think she might just be a little bit crazy. So
Yep.
yeah. But okay, yeah, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below. For our Patreon, you can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
Next time.